Welcome back to Policy and Race here on Depictions Media Radio. I'm your host, Michael Clouds. All right. So, as we know, of course, Mr. Poilievre and the Conservatives are still fighting against the Liberal 2025 budget. And we have seen that, hey, you know what? Some of the Conservative MPs have either left the party, resigned from being MP, or walked across the floor. And we've heard terms like centralist appear, that Carney is very centrist in his beliefs and in how he wants Canada to walk. And honestly, not necessarily a bad thing, because maybe the centrist ideas will unite Canada and will bring us to a common table where we all can aspire and find really good things. That maybe along that way, that centrist path, that there will be programs and things developed so that we understand issues and then find our way to making those issues even better. So while we might be hearing these terms, maybe we should be listening to those terms at the same time. So, well, and we're going to hear in today's episode, of course, Anita Anand, and she's going to speak with, or has spoken with reporters about the G7 and foreign ministers meeting in the Niagara region, and how her counterparts are wanting to deal with things such as Ukraine security and defense, plans to end the Gaza conflict. But yes, the conflict is still going on until the people of Gaza have been able to rebuild and find humanitarian aid so that they can put their lives back to rights. The conflict is not officially over. Some of the fighting may be, but the conflict itself isn't over. So, and what to do with Haiti and the Sudan, as violence has re-erupted in those areas, gang violence in Haiti, and well, similar things that are happening in Sudan that have happened in the past. And so we're going to hear from Anita Anand about those sort of things. And we're also going to hear from, well, as I was talking about before, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre, he keeps speaking against the federal budget, saying that it is going to cause more pain and suffering than it ever will, and debt than it ever will help Canadians grow even stronger. Some of the problems that I have with Mr. Poilievre's way of thinking, though, lead us down the same path that the United States have gone down. That his ideal of what a Canadian looks like isn't the ideal of what a Canadian really is. While, and here's a lot of this in a nutshell. While we are dealing with is essentially a colony to the Indigenous people, that we should be looking for ways to reconcile that. And the Conservatives aren't really looking towards that. Now, granted, some of the ideas that presented in the budget, 2025 budget, don't exactly go along with the ideals that were presented by Mark Carney with reconciliation. But along with that, he's trying to walk a path that is going to unite Canada. Well, that will also mean that Indigenous people would get a fair shake at control of the land. Understanding that before colonialism happened, that land ownership was not land ownership. Land ownership was, this is my chunk of land to be steward over. And understanding what it means to be steward, it means that as I take from the land, I feed to the land. As the land feeds me, I feed the land. That we take care of each other. That we respect and we nourish with Mother Earth. And we don't just take the resources away. You see, and if Carney is willing to incorporate a lot of those ideas into policy for Canada, then that is the right thing to do. At the same time, I don't think Mr. Poilievre would want to do that. That his ideals of what Canada should look like would not include allowing more Indigenous land rights, not allowing more Indigenous rights to stewardship over the land so that the land actually can be protected in a way that it would feed us back. That as we take resources from it, that we put something back to the land so that it stays healthy and that it will grow. They're the ideals that, if we look closely at what Mr. Carney is trying to do, that some of the effects have seen of what Mr. Carney is trying. We're, at least around where I am, that rents are starting to fall. We need to look at that. And now people are like, whoa, that's not what Poilievre is saying. But if market rents start to go down, then that's a step towards affordable housing, isn't that? If market rents start to go down and people are able to save, then they can home ownership. They can take those steps towards home ownership, because that means if market rents are falling, then that means the interest rates are falling on mortgages. That they're going down. But wait, let's take a closer look. I believe that the Bank of Canada pushed a pause button on interest changes in the last reports, which is good. That things, if market rents are going down, interest rates are going down, then that means that more jobs can be created because businesses can buy more loans. Finding more money into the economy builds jobs. And maybe that's what Mr. Carney is after. And maybe we should be paying attention to those more centrist ideas so that maybe a little less money goes to the extreme rich and a little more money goes to the middle, and when money finds its way to the middle, it usually generates jobs and programs, making Canada a richer country. So why do we allow Mr. Poilievre to rant and rave because his way has got to be best, even though he has members walking away from him? Even though some of those members are walking towards Mr. Carney. So why don't we wait and see what this budget actually proves and how it will deliver? Because we may even see some things happen an improved idea of how Alberta might get development for a new pipeline that would be less invasive to the environment, and yet hopeful for Alberta to find ways to get their bitumen from the United States to other countries such as Asia, and possibly finding its way through shipping lanes into areas of Europe that would, wait, if we get Canadian bitumen into the hands of Europeans through rapid shipments, then maybe, just maybe, we might be able to take some money away from Mr. Putin. It will help curb the Ukrainian attacks. And as we talk about the Ukrainian attacks, in the latest volley of attacks, 6 people were actually killed, and it was considered to be a very deadly day for Ukraine in the last volley of attacks from Russia. So why don't we push forward, and we're going to hear from Anita Anand as she speaks about what's happening with the G7 and Canada. And we'll also hear again from Mr. Champagne about the budget. And Mr. Poilievre again will speak about his adversity and his criticisms about the Liberal budget 2025. So let's get started.